Welcome to this week's Simple Sense for Small Business. Biz Glitch 366 meets Tarot. The Tarot Said So, a tarot reading for a business mistake of the day. This week we're talking about a different kind of audit that could happen in your business if you choose to. Personal guarantee, a pledge of collateral, counting your hours. That sounds a little like, why would I do that? That's a lot of tedium. And some copyright violations. My name is Linda Ray. I am the owner of Aurora Consulting. Trevor and I, we manage a disaster funding, disaster loan consulting business. We have been in financial services for over 30 years, and now we're sort of semi-retired and doing some other fun things in our business. He's a musician, so we'll have all kinds of different types of videos for that too. This is entertainment purposes only. There's no empirical studies to prove any of this is guaranteed. This is all what you can interpret and whatever you can glean from it for inspiration or motivation. Would love to hear from you in the comments. Please like and subscribe. If you don't know what's going on here, please check our weekly Tarot Said So playlist. And the first several videos, I go into a little bit more of an exhausting background of who we are. But it's summer. We're taking the month of August off, so I'm pre-recording a lot of these videos, trying to keep them short for you because I know you got to get back to business and doing your thing. So let's get into it. I'm using the regular Tarot Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I love this deck. I think it's one of my favorites, but I try using other decks just to break it up a little bit. Okay, so first glitch is 223 for August 10th. When was the last time your attorney audited your forms, legal disclosures, contracts, employee agreements? This is a good time for me to also say in the description, there are timestamps for each glitch. If something like this doesn't apply to you, you can check out the other glitches and where to grab those clips of the video for glitches that might be more applicable to you. Timestamps and the original glitch video from last year that is not a tarot reading, but just more on this glitch is in the description. These glitches are sent, the project Biz Glitch 366 is an email a day with a mistake of the day. And 5 of Cups. Ooh, that's like, if you don't get a handle on mistakes, and the 5 of Pentacles is on the bottom of the deck. Wow. This is what happens if you don't learn from mistakes. They'll just keep showing up until you figure out a different way to, figure it out. But we also talked about in another glitch, another tarot reading, having a CPA audit your financial statements. That was last week. All right. This is, how do you feel about your attorney? First of all, how do you feel about having an attorney auditing contracts, documents, etc., legal documents? It's important. Things change. The landscape changes. People change. Situations change. How do we feel about having to hire an attorney to review everything, keep it tight, keep it clean? 3-card spread, energy shift, and result. So the energy around hiring an attorney, client contracts, employment agreement, contractors agreements is the 6 of Swords. This is the moving out of troubled waters, moving away from the turbulence of situations. And that could be, if you don't pay attention to this and then you have somebody who calls you out on a loophole or something, and it cannot be a breach because the legal contract did not explain a certain provision, say something like that. Again, mistakes. One of the reasons this project exists, this channel exists, is because Sometimes we find out after the mistake has already been made or the oversight has been made, and then you have to deal with the consequences. So what's the shift to having the consideration of auditing all your all of your legal documents? And this is the Three of Pentacles. This is the collaboration card. This is, discuss with the experts in your business, the strategic alliances that you've networked with, that you've met, collaborated with, and ask for help. If you're not a lawyer, ask for help, right? And the result, strength. The strength of making the time. There's no finding the time. There's making the time to handle some of the minutia that is an expense line item. But the aggravation that it saves from future complications. I love it. I love this. All right. First glitch done out of the box. And again, the glitch, when I share with you the glitch, the Biz Glitch 366 project, when you get the email, there's goals and actionable items and resources that you can download or access to make this a little bit more palatable and make it a little bit more manageable to execute if this is something that you've been losing sleep over or that you've been contemplating, So, all right, next glitch is August 11th, 224. Are you willing to provide a personal guarantee for the business if you are seeking financing? This was a huge consideration during the pandemic when we worked with and counseled thousands of business owners, and some of them had never been through the business financing process. Some have never applied for a business loan. But this economic injury disaster loan came about. The SBA has the infrastructure for it, albeit the most underfunded agency in the government, and even more so now. And so business owners were finding out what happens when you're applying for a loan, and what underwriting means, and what personal guarantee means, and what collateral means. And we'll get into that one in the next glitch. So how do we feel if working capital is something we want to apply for with our banker, or and then there's a personal guarantee provision that is a requirement? How do we feel about a personal guarantee? Oh my gosh, I totally shuffled. Strength. Finding the strength to determine something that you're not familiar with. So having to not only learn it, but understand the ramifications, understand how this applies in your business, in your future, with your financials. If you default on a loan and your business goes belly up, you're still responsible to pay that loan. You have to kind of figure out, is that something I'm willing to risk? Is my business, do I have confidence in my business and the longevity of my business to be able to pay the debts that I take, and how that will impact? What's the shift to getting familiar, getting comfortable with personal guarantee in the process? 10 of Cups. This is the celebration, happiness, family. Maybe there's, understanding how this impacts your personal life with the business, and having a personal guarantee when you have a business loan. How does that impact the business? How does that impact the family and your personal life with decisions you make in your business? And the result, 8 of Wands. This is doing the work in your business to sustain profitability, to be able to repay the debt from the business, so you're not impacting the family. finding the strength to understand what all that you must execute in your business day to day, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, annually, year to year, to make sure you're profitable in your business, to pay your debts, and keep your family out of the business with personal funds you'd have to use to pay back a business loan. Woo, that's intense. Intense. You know, there's a major fallout going on right now with businesses all over the country that have not survived the pandemic, have not survived COVID, and have the business disaster loan. Bottom of the deck, we just talked about family, to protect your family. We're seeing a lot of people absolutely stressed out, and it's very, very difficult. And the SBA isn't making it easy. Congress isn't making it easy. We won't get into politics, but anyway, suffice it to say. Next is Glitch 225 for August 12th. Are you willing to pledge your personal assets as collateral to obtain lender financing for your business? This is important because we just talked about a personal guarantee, which is you would pay back this loan even if your business closed. I mean, there's more to it than that, but I'm not going to go into it. But now you're pledging collateral. So if you have equipment, if you have a building, you know, that's how the lender gets repaid. If your business goes under and you have property and equipment that has value and you'd have to sell it to pay back the loan. Can you stomach it? Can you... You know, because if your business is going under and you're like, oh, you know, oh my gosh, it's all falling out. Yeah, that's an Eight of Swords situation. And, you know, holding yourself accountable to the situation. It's heavy. It's deep. You know, if you're going out of business, you want to be able to preserve what you can and make what you can. But if you have a loan, you have to pay back that loan. That's part of the deal. All right, so let's look at it. How do we feel about having the confidence and trust in your business to pledge assets if you're seeking financing for your business, to scale your business, to grow your business, to expand your business? How do we feel? Okay. I don't know if we did this already, but I'm doing it again. All right, this is deep. Pledging collateral. Ooh, Queen of Pentacles. The businesswoman in the deck. This is, if you have financial resources, then, and you have a long-term plan for profitability in your business, this is a cakewalk, right? Or this is somebody that helps you plan to analyze the budget and forecast for long term for the budget and sales and income and revenue that will help you afford this debt so that you don't have to sell anything to pay it back. And the shift, Knight of Wands. We got a lot of court cards here. This could be where you have a team of people in your business that help you move forward on plans. If working capital or buying a building or investing in equipment, if this is a consideration that you make for the future, you might have to ask for help. Let's see what the result is. And this is the Knight of Wands. This is the having boundaries around how you plan for big decisions like this. There's a lot of passion in your business and making your business successful as a 9 card. This is also the Wounded Warrior card, so you're working really hard in your business, and it would be very deflating if you were not able to sustain the business to afford the debt, to have to then give up that collateral, whether it's a building or equipment or, any property that has value. You would want to plan and prepare and bring in who has financial acumen to make these kinds of difficult decisions. This is pretty heavy. Ooh, all right. Let's see, moving on. Okay, next is Glitch 226 for August 13th, which is my birthday. How often do you give salary raises to employees? Boy, okay. This is another heavy one for me, only because seeing what we're seeing around the country with minimum wage and everything around that. I think to retain employees, you really need to look at, is their work commensurate? Is the value of their work commensurate with a higher pay raise? Or do you risk losing them? Okay. Six of Swords, do they move on? All right. Let's see. The energy around, how often do you give raises to employees? Ooh, decisions. This is, can you afford to do it? But can you not afford to not do it? That's the decision. And again, talk a lot about budgeting and analyzing reports to see what you can afford, when and how you can afford what. All right, the shift is the Queen of Pentacles again. Businesswoman in the deck. This is about money. Perhaps somebody who can, really kind of have a come to Jesus with you about this, or having a reality check discussion about this, because it's important to compensate people for their value, for their work, for their expertise and experience, so they don't leave. The result is the Page of Swords. So many court cards coming up. This is asking for help. Ask for help. And also, the Page of Swords has a very carefree, c'est la vie. This is not something to take lightly because of the consequences. So again, conferring with experts in your network that can help make the decision about something of this magnitude. Really, really important. I love this, even though I don't love how sometimes people don't get the message about how important it is to hire and retain employees. Glitch 227 for August 14th. Do your logos or branding violate the trademarks or copyrights of other businesses? Some of these glitches are, worst case scenarios. But if you're at a business and you're not a sole proprietor and you have a team of people, or you have, employees and staff or associates, you don't know who's taking shortcuts in your business. So if someone's helping you put together branding elements or, for marketing, is your business protected from any violations of trademark? I mean, one of the only things that I can think of is like when we do editing videos and we'll get a copyright strike on a clip of an audio clip or a sound effects or music, and YouTube will flag it. But I also have a subscription where I legally have license to use music and sound effects that other people created. I'm honestly, like, I don't know if I can even think of an example that I've seen or know of. If you have, please put it in the comments. But so let's ask this question. Are you confident that how you're marketing, are you safe from copyright infringement accusations? Are your branding elements not violating any copyright infringement aspects? Okay, the energy, the Knight of Wands, wow. These court cards, typically this is also having other people in your business, other people associate strategic alliances that help you in your business, which is why I see a lot of court cards come up in these readings, making sure the people that you hire understand that shortcuts can be costly if they are not paying attention to other people's work and violating copyright infringement, trademark. Okay, so the shift, another page of, not a page, this is the Knight. Okay, so another court card really is a Page of Wands. The pages are filled with curiosity and new ideas, making sure they're not taking any shortcuts. We've addressed having a procedure manual or an operations manual. We've had glitches on those. We may have only had readings on the operations manual. I think the procedure manual is earlier in the year, so earlier in the glitch count. We started only doing the tarot readings on June 1st, which was, I think, like glitch number 153. But this is where having procedures and instructions for people in your business to understand how you operate your business, to make sure it's on the up and up. The result is, the Five of Swords. A 5 is conflict. This is ego, winning at all costs. I don't like ending on 5s, so we're going to pull a clarifier here, but this is giving me a lot of shortcut vibes. This is giving me shortcut vibes that are not favorable for a future outcome. So let's see what a clarifier is. Oh yeah, see? Okay, Ace of Pentacles. Money card, investing and making sure that your ideas are protected by other people in your business, executing on functions, executing on activities for marketing and utilizing branding elements, etc., that making sure that they don't violate copyright and trademark infringement laws. Heavy. I mean, I remember writing these and I remember thinking how, there's several that I don't have direct experience as a actual mistake that was made that I had to pay for with my time and legal assistance. Ace of Swords, ego. All right, next is August 15th, glitch number 228 for, what did I say, August 15th. How many hours do you work every week? Now, okay, this is important. All right, I know when you're your own boss, you can do whatever you want. But this is more in the realm of burnout, experiencing burnout, because when you experience burnout, it's too late. You're burnt out. And you've already exhausted yourself. Queen of Wands, the queen of planning out your day, planning out your week, planning out your time, If you don't strategize how you allocate your time, burnout can happen. And thus, by the time you figure it out, it's too late. So doing an experiment of, and it doesn't have to last forever. It's just, maybe it's just 1 week. You try it for 1 week. And then when you have a process or a procedure, then maybe you can expand it at another time for like a whole month or maybe even 2 weeks. And then that way you can see where you're wasting time or where you're not delegating or where you're spending time at work when you could be with the family or with friends or celebrating, milestones or celebrating other people because you have friends and family in your life. So let's see. How do we feel about tracking our time to understand how we're spending our time at work so that we are strategic with our time in our business? Two of Cups, strategic alliances, delegating, making sure you're not alone with all the things you have to do in your business. The Shift, the Knight of Cups, these core cards. This is because I think you want to move forward in your business to grow your business. Do it gracefully to avoid burnout. But, and these are cup cards. These are feelings, emotions. How are you doing this so that you know how to ask for help? And the result, High Priestess. Whoa. This is digging down deep in the subconscious mind, if you will, where your fears are on why you might not ask for help, on why you may not know how you spend your time because you could probably be more efficient and open, receptive to asking for help because you can't do it all. Oof, intense. Okay. High Priestess said so. High Priestess said so. So there you go. Asking for help. Knowing how you're spending your time. And when you find out those gaps, that you need to ask for help. Last one. Glitch 229 for August 16th. Do you use an outside bookkeeping firm? Let's see. We've had glitches the last couple of weeks in the weekly readings. Check out our playlist for the weekly readings that have 7. And in the description, timestamps. What we've talked about being an overbuyer and underbuyer. Talked about how do you feel about managing cash. We just talked about burnout and asking for help. Like, are you running your monthly? We also talked about reconciliation, bank reconciliations. Are you handling all that? Are you handling it on your own, or do you need to ask for help? And that is where the bookkeeping firm. How do we feel about asking for help with hiring a bookkeeping firm? Is it in the budget? Do we feel comfortable giving over our books? How do we feel about hiring a bookkeeping firm? Ooh, the Emperor. This control card. You have control. Do you want to give it up? Probably not. What's the Shift? Page of Pentacles. Money card. Pages are of youthful attributes. They're curious. And again, maybe there's somebody that you can trust. Give them a chance. Maybe you want to give them a chance to help out. And also maybe they're on the younger side. Maybe they just got out of school for accounting. Maybe they just took their CPA exam or something. And maybe it's a side hustle if this is not something you're comfortable with, or you haven't scaled your business just yet to afford somebody like this. All right, let's see what the result is. The Six of Cups. This is the card of nostalgia, and that this is also learning from the past. What can the past teach us about where our strengths lie in the business and how we delegate the rest? That seems to be a common theme that I mention a lot in these with the mistake, with the tarot reading. But this is taking all that you've learned in your business over the however many years you've been in business and building your professional network, your strategic alliances, so that you can give up some of that control, because you can't scale if you're doing it yourself. That's just not possible. And so part of hiring a bookkeeping firm is one less thing you have to do, so you can focus on the revenue producing activities in your business that make you money. And maybe you're part of that. Again, that also could be something else, that you have a salesperson for that because you don't like sales. I mean, there's so many different aspects, but the first thing is knowing who you are and what you're really good at in your business that deserves the control that you want to have in your business. Is it with the money and managing the money? What have you learned from the past in running your business that you can focus on to make the money? We've talked about a lot today that has to do with financials. So with that, what's the last thing is the success card, and I did already look at it, and it's blogging, which has nothing to do with money, but instead writing and a craft of our creative outlet of sorts. Blogging, there's a lot on here. I will put it up on the card. I will put the card up on the screen. Blogging allows your business to show thought leadership, engage existing customers, and bring in new customers. To me, writing is therapy. If it's not, again, since there's so many court cards that came up in this 7 readings, this is where you would perhaps ask for help on somebody who likes to write. And maybe you get the knowledge out of your head, but somebody puts it together in a well-crafted, written blog, article, newsletter. Thank you again. Please like and subscribe if this has any value to you, if you enjoyed it, if you learn anything as we go. I know I do. And thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time, because the tarot said so.